Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story. It takes hours to back up this guy's laptop before a reset. I leave my desk for a short meeting and return, and he's taken it upon himself to wipe his hard drive, causing me many hours more work. He then asks me not to report him next time he screws something up. The second story. Karen invades private property and steals Easter eggs. Police are called. The third story. Dude threatens a European airline because he knows Barack Obama. The first story is entitled coworker gets impatient and tries to do my job. A few years ago, I was working IT support and data analysis at a small-ish, around 50 people company. I had gotten the job thanks to my father being the head of IT, and had spent the last few years trying to prove myself, and I generally liked my job, was good at it, and most people respected me. Even though I was young and looked younger, I had worked there longer than about half the company because we recently expanded to double the number of employees. I was in charge of assigning laptops among other things, and I was the first line of support if something techie went wrong. One of the newer employees was a multilingual sales guy I'll call Marty. Marty had a high opinion of himself and his own capabilities, including with technology. Instead of asking for help or resources from the IT team, he would rather look up problems himself and try to solve them sometimes using free software downloads from random websites. You may think that this is good, less for me to worry about, but I liked helping people with their tech issues, and he had a knack for making things worse. He somehow managed to get a virus on his company MacBook, some tool that also happened to divert all his network activity to a random IP, a huge security issue. One day, Marty had a laptop problem that he couldn't solve. He didn't like it, but I told him he could either take it to an Apple store himself, it was under warranty, or I could reset it but keep his files. He took a day to think about it and decided to let me reset his MacBook. I had informed him that I would have to perform a full backup, and this could take several hours depending on how many files he had. So I started the backup process in the morning and tried to go about the rest of my job, but Marty decided to park himself on a chair between me and my desk neighbor and watch the backup. It made me uncomfortable to have Marty in my personal space and sharing my desk with me. I told him he could still do a lot of his work via his phone, as other salespeople do when I work on their laptops, and in response he asked if he could use my phone charger. I tried politely hinting at him to go find somewhere else to sit, but he didn't get it. So I straight up told him he was in my personal space and making me uncomfortable, and to go find somewhere else to be, and I'll inform him when the migration is done in a few hours. The backup took longer than expected due to the number of files Marty had. Marty had decided rather than sitting at his own desk, he still wanted to hover nearby, and was on his phone in the IT lounge area, and making the people who work in that area slightly uncomfortable. The backup completed after lunch, but I had a meeting to attend with a VP before it finished. I rarely had meetings, and this one wasn't long, about half an hour. When I got back to my desk after the meeting to check the status of Marty's laptop, I saw that it was behaving unexpectedly, net booting. I asked my neighbor Victor if he had done this, and he told me no, but Marty had been at my desk while I was away at a meeting. My mind quickly filled in the blanks of what must have happened, while I was away from my desk for just half an hour. Impatient Marty had come and wiped his hard drive, as according to what he had read online. I had done the full backup because it was policy and just in case, but I knew his problem would probably be solved if I reinstalled the OS but kept his files, and it would take less time too. But he had wiped everything and also managed somehow to wipe the recovery partition too. This man is dangerous, and I knew thanks to a mistake I had made months before on a different laptop that this job had gone from almost done to taking up to 12 more hours to complete. I was peeved that he somehow thought that he could just walk all over my work. I was peeved that I would now have to work on this overnight, because I didn't want to keep him away from his laptop for more than a day. I angrily confirmed with Marty what he had done, and informed him that he had really messed up the laptop, and I definitely wasn't going to get it up and running today. But I was still angry, so I told my dad, the head of IT, what had happened, and he agreed that Marty had crossed a line. But I was still angry, and so I told Marty's boss, the head of sales, what he had done. Marty had also talked to her, and she convinced me to lend him a spare laptop to use until I could finish fixing his. I confirmed with my dad that I would give him the oldest, clunkiest spare laptop on hand, and he agreed. That made me feel a little better, like at least Marty would be a little inconvenienced by what he had done. Marty had majorly inconvenienced me. I took the amnesiac MacBook home and fixed it overnight. Downloaded macOS and installed via USB. I restored Marty's files. I gave him back the laptop the next day. I was still pretty peeved at Marty, but he insisted he needed to talk with me privately. He took me into a room to basically say sorry and ask me not to tell on him next time. I said whatever and left the meeting room because I just wanted him out of my face. When he gave me back the old loaner laptop, he told me he liked it better than his shiny new one and asked if he could keep using it. This slightly angered me further because it was supposed to be a punishment. I had to tell him no, because company policy. I'm not giving him an out-of-warranty laptop. I'm normally an easygoing, forgiving person, but Marty thinking that he was entitled to do my job for me? Unacceptable. The second story is, Karen I did not know tried to let her kids steal my family's Easter eggs. Cops were called. A similar story I saw recently reminded me of this. It happened in 2015, so pre-pandemic. The day before Easter, my wife and I helped our kids make colored eggs. Some we dyed, some we painted, and others were just plastic with candy. But my kids doodled little faces on them for fun. On Easter morning, my wife and I went to my parents' house because they live on the edge of the city right next to some woods. And they've got a good 2-acre property with a few scattered apple trees, a garden, a play structure for the kid my dad hand-built, and some decent-sized bushes, perfect for hiding eggs in. We spent a good hour in the morning placing the eggs in clever but also easy-to-find places for the kids. We also invited a friend of my wife, who is a single mom with a little girl, to join in, and she was overjoyed we invited her. We took a little break to have a coffee and chat after hiding the eggs, as we'd planned to go out looking for them at noon, since it was a little chilly that morning. But my mom suddenly came to us and said there was a lady with kids she'd never seen before hunting for the eggs in the backyard, and her kids were using the baskets we'd set aside for our own egg hunt. They'd been left sitting by the garden for when the hunt was to start, and those thieving little brats just took them without a care. I told my wife to pull out her phone and start recording just in case. My wife and I have both dealt with entitled people long before seeing stories on Reddit, so having video evidence can really help. We then went outside and I demanded to know just what the hell this woman was thinking. The Karen mom was startled when I called out to her, but then got mad at us when I told her to put the eggs back, as she was not invited. Since this was 7 years ago, I'll have to paraphrase most of it, as my memory can be pretty garbage at times. Me: hey, what do you think you're doing here? This is private property. Karen: ugh, don't sneak up on me. What's wrong with you? Me: what's wrong with me? You're trespassing on private property and letting your kids steal our eggs. By this point, her 2 crotch goblins had to run behind her, and they were blowing raspberries at me. Me: give those eggs back. They aren't yours. Karen: what's wrong with you? They're just little kids. I couldn't afford to give them a good Easter this year, and when we saw all the eggs you were hiding, I just thought maybe you could share. Besides, they're just eggs. Go to the store and get more. Me: my family lovingly colored and painted those eggs all day yesterday, and you will give them back, or so help me. And then the Karen actually slapped me across the face and stomped on my foot at the same time. I got bullied a fair bit as a kid, so it didn't faze me nearly as much as she thought. Plus, she couldn't stomp or hit very hard at all, so all that just made me angrier. And I'm pretty sure she realized she badly effed up, because she started backing away. Me: last chance, return the eggs now. Karen: no, my baby's got them first. I was done with this crap, and turned to tell my family to just call the police. The Karen started shouting at me that we can't call the police over some stupid eggs. My dad then went and blocked the side gate, which is how the Karen had gotten in. We don't know how she was spying on us since she wasn't even a neighbor to my parents. But when we refused to let her leave, she started screaming hysterically that we were illegally detaining her. The police arrived in about 10 minutes, and by then the Karen had huddled with her kids on the bench by the garden. My wife showed the cops the video of the Karen slapping me, and they quickly told her she was under arrest and forced her kids to give back the eggs and baskets. The Karen started screaming that it wasn't fair, and she just wanted a happy Easter for her kids. Her little crotch goblins didn't make things easy for the police either, as they tried to hit them for arresting their mom. We made a few statements, and the police carted off the Karen and her family. Then we re-hid all the eggs, which took longer because we had to double-check any places we'd already hidden eggs to see if they weren't there. The kids were all super upset that someone tried to steal their eggs too, and it took some work to calm them down, but they all got their Easter egg hunt and all was well. The Karen, though, more or less got off easy. She pled guilty and only got a month in jail and a fine. And during court, I found out from her soon-to-be ex-husband that they were in the middle of a divorce that Karen had been intentionally dragging out. After court, we didn't see or hear from any of them again. But I'd like to think that the situation gave the dad the edge he needed in divorce. And it's become a funny story we like to share with people once in a while. And the last story is, no, you don't know Barack Obama. I was working for an airline a few years ago. Customer Service Center incoming calls. I was helping people to book, rebook, and reroute flights mostly, and also sometimes had to handle some interesting people. To this day, I'm still convinced my colleagues just forwarded me the worst callers. Me is me. What a surprise. C is customer. Me. Welcome at airline name. My name is Austrian BST09. How may I help you today? C. I want to book a flight for me, wife, 5 kids. Me. Sure. Do you already have dates? C. No. Give me the cheapest. Me. One way or return flight? C. Give me the cheapest. I can already smell this is going to be a hard case. Me. Okay. Where do you want to fly to? C. Turkey. Me. Okay. 1 second, please. I do have cheap tickets left for XXXX, with an inbound at the XXXX. C. How much? Me. That would be 300 euros per person. Can't really remember the accurate price. C. How much you make for me? Me. As I said, the price would be 300 euros plus service charge for the booking via our phone line. C. Make cheaper price. Me. No? It's 300 euros. C. I saw that price online. I said give me cheapest ticket. Me. Sir, that's the cheapest price we have. C. No, make better price. Me. Sir, we're an airline. Our prices are set in the system. C. I give you 150 euros. Me. No, it's 300 euros. C. You can fly cheaper, I know. Me. Sir, what do you mean? C. I want standby ticket. Me. Are you an employee? We can fly cheaper but in standby and with no rights in case of cancellation or if we don't get seats. C. No, I want price. Me. No, you're a regular customer. You're not entitled for standby fares. C. I want price. Me. No way, it's not allowed. C. Just enter price now or I call my friend Barack, and you will never land in the US again. Me. Are you threatening the company, sir? C. Give me tickets or you will be grounded. Me. No, I'm getting fed up now. C. Cheapest price or we fly other airline. Me. By all means, sir, please fly with the other airline. C. I call Barack now. Me. Sure, I'll wait. I gave my colleagues a signal and switched phone to speaker so I have witnesses. C. Barack says you give me tickets. Me. Mr. Barack Obama says that I shall give you cheap tickets on a European airline? With all due respect, I don't think even he's in a position to advise me. He can contact our CEO and get it handled. C. Give me a private number. Me. Mr. Obama sure has the contacts. C. Last price before Barack calls your CEO and gets you fired. Me. In that case, it'd be 300 euros per person. C. You'll never work in airline again. Me. D. I'll never be allowed to work in customer service again. I am in tears. C. Save your job. Make better price. Me. You know what? Take an effing bike and stay off our planes. I hope you enjoyed these stories. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Have a good day.